Are we anywhere near a possible acceptable solution? And if not, why is it that the UN system, and particularly its principal organ, the United Nations Security Council, mandated to primarily maintain international peace and security? Why is it rendered completely ineffective to the resolution of the ongoing conflict?
भारत ने एक बार फिर यूएन को जोरदार लताड़ा है। भारत ने एक बार फिर यूएन से कई सवाल किए हैं। भारत ने संयुक्त राष्ट्र सुरक्षा परिषद से सीधे तौर पर पूछा कि संयुक्त राष्ट्र सुरक्षा परिषद आखिर रूस यूक्रेन युद्ध को हल करने में सक्षम क्यों नहीं हो पाया। भारत की अध्यक्षता कर रही रुचिरा कंबोज ने सवाल किया यूएनएससी से कि 2 साल बीत चुके हैं और तीसरी साल शुरू हो चुकी है, फिर भी यूएनएससी रूस यूक्रेन युद्ध का कोई हल नहीं निकाल पाया है। भारत ने दुनिया भर में फेल साबित हो रहे संयुक्त राष्ट्र सुरक्षा परिषद पर निशाना साधा और सुधारों की मांग को भी बुलंद किया। भारत की बेटी रुचिरा कंबोज ने संयुक्त राष्ट्र को जमकर घेरा है। आप भी देखिए वीडियो और वीडियो के एंड में रुचिरा कंबोज ने सभी का दिल जीता है, वो भी जरूर देखना।
We have consistently held the position that no solution can ever come at the cost of human lives. The escalation of hostilities and violence is in no one's interest. We have hence urged from the outset that all efforts be made for an early cessation of hostilities and for an urgent return to the path of dialogue and diplomacy. We have said so before, Madam President. The global order that we all subscribe to is based on international law, the principles of the UN Charter, and respect for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of all states. Engaging in dialogue stands as the sole path to resolving conflicts and differences, no matter how insurmountable such a course may seem at present. The path to peace requires us to keep all channels of diplomacy open. Hence, sincere and practical engagement amongst all stakeholders can help improve understanding and reduce the gap between divergent positions. The wholehearted participation and commitment of all stakeholders will be critical for stable and lasting peace. A focus on alleviating the consequences of the conflict, Madam President, will be of lasting benefit globally, especially for the most vulnerable societies and economies. India's G20 presidency has ensured that some of those economic pitfalls faced by developing countries were brought to the forefront of the G20 agenda, and through a consensus-based approach, a roadmap agreed upon, which also provided solutions for countries facing debt distress. Looking ahead, Madam President, India's approach to the Ukraine conflict will continue to be people-centric. We are providing both humanitarian assistance to Ukraine and economic support to some of our neighbors in the global south facing economic distress. We need to avoid steps which endanger the possibility of dialogue and negotiations. To this end, at the present juncture, as the conflict has continued for 2 years unabated, we, the Committee of UN Member States, must pause and ask ourselves 2 pressing questions. 1. Are we anywhere near a possible acceptable solution? And if not, why is it that the UN system, and particularly its principal organ, the United Nations Security Council, mandated to primarily maintain international peace and security? Why is it rendered completely ineffective to the resolution of the ongoing conflict? For multilateralism to be effective, Madam President, outdated and archaic structures need reform and reinventing, else their credibility will always be on the wane. And unless we fix that systemic flaw, we will continue to be found wanting. As I conclude, Madam President, I will reiterate Prime Minister Narendra Modi's assertion that this is not an era of war. We must remain focused on our shared objectives to achieve our development goals and the partnership and cooperation that we will need for achieving these. As we, the Member States, strive to bring the process of achieving the SDGs back on track, and as we endeavour to forge a significant pact for the future, we should aim for more cooperation and not less. It is crucial, therefore, to keep the faith, to keep the conviction in the power of dialogue and diplomacy, which have reliably and always served humanity's progress. Thank you.